Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Become a Strategic Business Partner with Hubdoc and Employment Hero. Just want to say thank you so much for taking a bit of time out of your afternoon to join us today, so close to the holidays. I'm sure many of you can almost taste it. I'm very much looking forward to it. But once again, thanks for taking your time for us this afternoon. Should take about 45 minutes to get through our webinar content. And without further ado, let's introduce today's speakers. So myself, I'm Matt Bunston. I'm the country manager at Hubdoc Australia. Many of you might have joined me on some of these webinars we've done over the past few months. It's been a long ride, but we're very pleased to be joined, last but not least, by Ashley from Employment Hero. How are you today, Ashley?
Hey, Matt, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. We just realized we're both chatting from Sydney, so probably should have done this in the same room, but for the next webinar, for Hubdoc Employment Hero Round 2, we'll have to organize that. Amazing, amazing. So kind of some housekeeping items to touch on before we actually get into the content. We will send you the recording, so likely sometime tomorrow you'll get that in your inbox. You can share that with whoever might find it useful. And I think given the content of today's webinar, it being a deminar, so to speak, as we like to call it, more of a bottom of the funnel, actually showing you the functionality of our solutions. They might be particularly valuable to many people that you either work with or know in the industry. Second, and perhaps most important, is please ask questions. In the GoToWebinar panel, there is a question and answer section. Now, we have Audrey, who's joining me behind the scenes, who's going to be moderating and managing that section. Just so you know, you're going to be able to ask questions throughout the webinar. We might not answer that question immediately. We're going to have a little Q&A session at the very end, just so we can keep kind of the flow of the webinar going and not be maybe caught off track. But just so you know, if your question doesn't get answered immediately, it will get answered at the end of the webinar. So don't stress, don't fret whatsoever. We'll try to get through everyone's questions. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, close any unnecessary windows. It's just going to help enhance your webinar experience. Turn your phone over so you're not getting notifications. We're not trying to take up too much of your time this afternoon, but closing windows, notifications, applications, etc. is helpful. A bit of a pro tip that I was taught the other week: you click Alt and then the top right button. If you're on a Mac computer, it actually just stops all notifications. So once again, the Alt button and the top right button, the little stack icon on a Mac, it will turn off notifications temporarily. Awesome. So getting into just the webinar and what we're going to be discussing today, certainly as you may have read in the webinar heading, we're discussing how to become a strategic business partner. A lot of that has to do with getting a lot of the fundamental tools in place so that you can do that, so you can transition more into that advisory space. With Hubdoc, we're automating a lot of these administrative tasks, from automating document collection and data entry. With Employment Hero, you're learning how to easily leverage your client's HR information and business insights, right? So Ashley is going to touch on a lot of that later on. Now, when you wrap those two sort of products in a bow, it is how to use this automation to help your clients maintain compliance, and probably do that in a much more automated way, so that you can enhance your advisory services. Now, we're not getting too much into what those advisory services are going to be. Pretty much, anything under the sun you can advise your clients on. Quite obviously, it might depend on your education, it might depend on what really drives you. But today, we're really going to be talking about how Hubdoc and Employment Hero can set a foundation so that you can then, at least think about starting to add those types of services. So with that, I'm going to pass on over to Ash to run through the next couple slides here.
Cool, thanks, Matt. So just before we dive into the demos, let's just kind of make sure that we're on the same page about defining advisory and what we mean by that. So advisory services can kind of be thought of in two different buckets. You've got your performance or simple advisory, which includes things like software implementation, app advisory, startup mentoring, so on. And then on the other side, you've got strategic or complex advisory, which includes things like succession planning, virtual CFO services, HR advisory, and performance mentoring. So then advisory is necessary for becoming a strategic business partner to your clients. And this is because being a business partner means helping your clients work on their business as opposed to working in it. So to do that, you kind of want your client interactions to be focused on helping them making decisions, forecasting for the future, and things like that. Not about, asking for documents and nagging them for information and that sort of thing. So before you can offer any type of advisory service, it's really important to have a solid foundation of workflows and technology to underpin that. So if you do have in place something that's compliant and makes this whole process seamless, that's really going to help your advisory. So in other words, to achieve this, you really want to make sure that you're embracing automation and to save time on administrative tasks and having the ability to access your clients' key business information in near real time. So this is kind of where Employment Hero and Hubdoc come in. This is kind of where we sit. Both of these tools can help you get the best out of these foundational items that you really need to take your advisories to the next level.
Amazing. So, as touched on, like our platforms don't integrate together. However, they do provide these kind of foundational pieces to, we talk about automation of core services a lot, or core work, right? The work that might take an inordinate amount of your time, and work that can and probably should be automated so that you can then maybe drive higher value add services with your clients. And so, with that, we're first going to understand how Hubdoc does that, and then we're going to toss over to Ashley to understand how Employment Hero can help, which I'm actually particularly interested in because I haven't seen the platform too much. So awesome. Many of you in this webinar might have seen Hubdoc already, but Hubdoc is at a base level a bookkeeping automation solution that allows accounting and bookkeeping firms to automate document collection and data entry. We integrate with QuickBooks Online and Xero to help firms achieve this dream of code-free accounting. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this on the demo and actually show you what the product actually looks like and how it works. That is a certain high level of what the product does. Now, if you look at a historical view of what bookkeeping was, manual, decentralized, and friction-filled certainly come to mind. Now, in a world where bookkeeping is manual, decentralized, and friction-filled, there's no time to even consider, I believe, bringing on advisory services. No time to consider doing any other type of work for your client because all your time is actually taken up doing this manual, decentralized, and friction-filled work. And what we mean by that is stuff from manual being document collection and data entry actually being done manually. Decentralized, you're using a ton of different platforms, whether it's email, cloud storage, physical accordion files inside those big clunky filing cabinets that we've all used. I spent a summer literally going through those filing cabinets at an accounting firm. It was not super fun. And finally, like friction-filled, right? You are having to chase up a client for a document or having to actually look through all these decentralized places for a document at the end of the month, quarter, or year, which really adds a lot of time and pain to your process. So we want to help obviously automate a lot of these factors. Now, what do these old kind of ways result in? Well, 30% of your time actually spent doing these manual tasks that could and should be automated, paper-based. It's actually using up valuable parts of your office space that could certainly be used for other things, and not necessarily adding staff members, but having casual space as an example. And finally, the average general ledger is actually 60 days out of date. And that kind of really surprises me in this world where we do have bank feeds and we do have immediate access to data, that shows me that it's not actually being leveraged, right? You're still having a rear view mirror approach to the health of a business, right? Instead of being up to date and accurate and perhaps like on a weekly basis or a daily basis, depending on who's kind of managing that bookkeeping process, the average general ledger being 60 days out of date clearly isn't setting that proper foundation. Now, run through this quickly as we're going to get into a demo in a second. The way Hubdoc works is a transaction happens, meaning client purchases something at a terminal or pays for their Telstra bill or gets a bill from Telstra, or even a document is created. That could be a lease agreement, that could be any other document, a bank statement as an example. There's a couple different ways to get those documents into Hubdoc. The kind of regular way is emailing in, scanning and uploading, snapping a picture with the mobile app. The way that Hubdoc sort of built our company on is in this auto-fetch functionality, being able to fetch recurring bills and statements from banks and online suppliers. Once these documents arrive in our platform, the data is automatically extracted, the documents are automatically filed, and then you're able to actually use that data by posting transactions to your general ledger with the source document automatically attached, which obviously creates one-click reconciliation and audit proofing, which is obviously super valuable in terms of foundational processes. So what we'll do is we'll actually dive into a quick product demonstration and how Hubdoc can help automate a lot of these core these core services. And after that, I'm actually going to pass over to Ashley so she can give you a bit of a run through of Employment Hero. I'm just going to refresh my page here to make sure I don't get logged out as we're having this conversation. But we're going to get an idea of what a Hubdoc account looks like, as I just loaded Hero as well. Right in front of our eyes here once my page loads. So what we're looking at is actually one of your clients' Hubdoc files. So what we see here, first and foremost, is a folder structure on the left-hand side. Now, that folder structure is quite simple, and I think that kind of circles around our core value point of being a cloud-based filing cabinet for your client's key financial documents. As Ashley will touch on it in a bit, Employment Hero certainly kind of works a lot more with HR-related documents and things like that, and employee records, whereas Hubdoc certainly takes a focus on financial-related documents, payables, transactions on the bank feed, leasehold agreements, contracts, reports, statements, etc. Now, what we also see from a very high level is, depending on what folder we're in, you also see a document stream. So obviously, if I click on Telstra, we're only going to see documents in a Telstra folder, and vice versa to any other folder that I click on. Now, if we're talking about document automation, where Hubdoc generally begins that story is in the Add Account section. So all I have to do is click Add Account. Now, what happens sort of in the Add Account section is Hubdoc's ability to fetch and file recurring bills and statements from banks and online suppliers. This is what we built our business on, and I think we had a very common use case that many clients and then advisors have, right? If you're a client, you have documents stored all over the web, and getting them together in one place automatically is sort of hard enough because they're recurring. You have to log in and download it every month, and most business owners didn't get into business to do kind of this back office admin stuff, right? Now, that issue gets compounded when it's the advisor that actually needs access to these financial documents, right? They're relying on getting things like bank statements and bills, receipts, etc., so they can verify data, right? They can verify data on a bank feed. Historically, beyond that, what would take place obviously before bank feeds is obviously much more manual. But to show you here, you can set up feeds on Hubdoc much in the same way as you can set up feeds on an accounting platform, General Ledger, insofar as you can search from a list of connections or choose from a popular list. And so what I'll do here is just put in my logins for Commonwealth Bank. Now, we always get a question saying, you're not putting in your logins, are you? No, this is a demo biller, so I'm not revealing anything sensitive to you at the moment, but just shows you the kind of workflow that happens. Generally, during the onboarding process to Hubdoc, the client would set up a feed CBA. As you can already see, these documents getting fetched and automatically filed into Hubdoc right away. And so, the idea of even automating bank statement collection from clients that might be particularly challenging to get bank statements from, we can save you, hours of your time at month, quarter, and year end, when your time is most valuable, right? So the idea of fetching and filing those documents so that you can be much more agile, right? The efficiency and accuracy gains that you get by getting this document when it's available instead of when the client wants to send it to you is certainly going to make your business much more streamlined. Certainly, once again, when your time is most sensitive. Now, like the flip side to those connections is obviously our ability to fetch and file transactional data. Whether it is transactions from PayPal, Square, Stripe, and Shopify, or telco utility bills and software vendors, Hubdoc can actually fetch, file, and extract data from a Telstra bill automatically. Now, what you're probably saying is great, fetching and filing is amazing, but what about this whole bank reconciliation, bookkeeping aspect? If we open up the data bar, we can then see data that's been pulled out of this document. We can set up account level rules. We can split GST and GST free line items. And in no more than a few clicks or review process, or if you wanted to auto sync a document, that transaction would appear in Xero. It would have the source document automatically attached to that transaction, and it'd be coded exactly the way you told us to code it. So the idea of bookkeeping turning into a review and management process, I call it data management versus data entry. I know it sounds like a catchphrasey buzzword, but I can tell you that when I do bookkeeping with Hubdoc in Xero, it's really streamlined. What used to take me hours of my time at month end, I come into my account for maybe 10 minutes every week. I review transactions, I publish them through to Xero, and the really amazing benefit is that there's no lag in the API. They appear matching to my bank feed automatically with the source document automatically attached. And so this idea of streamlining and automating the bookkeeping process and the bank rec process so that what used to take hours is now taking minutes, this hours to minutes paradigm, you can then flip the script where you could actually spend perhaps hours of your time doing strategic initiatives and thinking about advisory services, right? Certainly this is something that historically might have taken much more time. Now, the last thing I will show everyone before handing over to Ashley is the manual upload side of our platform. It obviously is very important. I always I sort of shake my head when individuals think that we're kind of moving to a completely paperless, economy, right? There's certainly easily ways for us to digitize documents using Hubdoc as a bit of a shameless plug right now, but you're still getting like physical receipts, physical invoices, different documents. Like the amount of handwritten invoices that are still apparent in businesses is shocking, obviously, depending on the industry you're in. Now with Hubdoc, you have a mobile application where you can snap pictures of documents. You can email documents into our platform with a unique intake email, or you can browse and directly upload. So you can scan locally or email in, etc., directly to our platform. Now, just to show you a bit about how that works, the sort of client workflow would change to this, whereby the client would use these various means to get documents into our platform, and then the advisor is then able to act quite agilely and diligently against those documents. Now, it certainly depends on the services you're providing. In some circumstances, the client is actually doing that bookkeeping work, and the advisor is coming in to fix anything up at quarter or month end. But even this solution is going to save your clients hours and hours of their time, and they are going to love you for suggesting this platform is going to save them administrative headache. Now, as we see from these documents I uploaded, some of these are actually PDFs, some of these are JPEG documents. But not only have we extracted data from all of these files in a matter of moments, but since Hubdoc has seen these before, there's actually pre-configured rules for Xero. So once again, it becomes this management process as opposed to data entry. I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. With Officeworks, I know that I don't have to toggle any tracking classes, whether it's apartments, locations. I know that the account code remains consistent on all my Officeworks purchases. I'm not buying candy bars or anything from Officeworks, or I try my best not to. So what I can do in that circumstance is click this publish and proceed button. It's just a reviewing of the key data, clicking publish so that it goes through to Xero to match. And in that circumstance, I actually skip the draft area of Xero because I don't want to do my work twice. And when we're reviewing in Hubdoc, I want it to match against my bank feed as quick as possible. When it comes to Regional Express, I know that this is a supplier related to travel, and I need to track department level travel spend, right? So what I have to do in this circumstance is just do a quick scroll down, click on a department, and click a different department. Now, obviously, in my real account, there's a little more departments involved in that, but this review area gives me that basically ability and agility to toggle those items and make sure that the transaction is correct and accurate before it arrives in Xero. I'm not going in there and doing any cleanup work afterwards. And this workflow really allows me to have kind of checks and balances over the bookkeeping process and publishing. But what it also does is really streamlines it, right? Because I think that what we want in this day and age is we want automation, but automation at the sacrifice of verification is just incomplete, right? It's not the appropriate process, and having to go and fix things at month, quarter, or year end is going to cause more pain and headache, and really just kind of to tear down that accurate, verified, immediate data that we love so much about cloud accounting. Amazing. So I've showed everyone through the platform. If you need an access or our connections list, if you haven't gotten this already, Audrey will post it in the chat so you can have it. If you don't see it in the chat, just ping us at support@hubdoc.com to ask us for it, and let us know if you need anything else. So with that, I'm just going to hop back into the presentation here. Try to avoid technical difficulties as I transfer over to Ashley. Okay, there you go, Ash.
There we are. Thanks, Matt. So Employment Hero is similar to Hubdoc in that it's a subscription cloud-based software solution as well. And we kind of use a lot of powerful automation and payroll integrations to decrease the overall administration time and increase your productivity. That's the kind of big idea. So we also integrate with a few payroll platforms as well. So Hero Pay, that's our payroll system, and KeyPay, QuickBooks, Xero, and MyOb as well. And the reason for that is we just want to kind of make the HR and payroll process quite seamless. Okay, so if you think about Employment Hero's core functionality, it's just sort of taking the old-fashioned sort of stack of papers that you experience in an onboarding process and it puts them in the cloud. So instead of having an employee come in on their first day and handing them a giant stack and just saying sort of go sit in the corner and write your name and date of birth, 14 times on 14 different pieces of paper, the employee can do this before their start date online and in a fraction of the time it would take to kind of do it in the office. And we've also got some onboarding checklists and document templates that kind of help to automate this process as well. You kind of set those up one time and then you don't have to do that later for each individual employee. And then our payroll integrations sort of mean that employee files and leave requests and timesheets and things like that are sort of created and approved in the HR system automatically sync over into the payroll system so they can exist there and you don't have to do double entry. And there's also one source of truth for your data. And we also have some employee benefits and engagement features that we're really starting to build out as well. And these kind of mean that you can offer your smaller and medium-sized clients some capabilities that they probably wouldn't be able to afford or to be able to organize independently. And all of that stuff just sort of comes standard in our subscriptions. The platform is sort of designed to fill gaps and improve your clients' processes and ensure that they're compliant. That's kind of built into all of the features that we create, so you don't have to think about it. And it also provides the advisory piece for you with some insights to help you kind of service your clients better and find opportunities to provide more services for them. So if you think about, let's say, a cafe client, for example, managing these kind of workflows is most likely not, the venue manager's primary responsibility, right? So if I'm trying to look after my servers and make sure that my guests are having a nice time, I don't really have a lot of time to sit around and think about what's the best way to sort of do these HR workflows, and I don't have a lot of time to go through HR and employment legislation to make sure that everything that we do is super compliant. We know that a lot of small to medium businesses don't always have dedicated HR and payroll staff, and that's probably where you come in. And they may not also have the time and resources to invest in really fancy, sleek workflows as well that are specific to them. So we try to really make things easy for you and your clients, and we do that by providing pre-built and pre-compliant documents and customizable contract templates, and through our digital onboarding. And we also have a mobile application that's really designed for employees to self-service their employee files, and we have built-in workflows for things like leave management, employee file data management as well. So our HR solution means that you keep everything in one place. That's kind of the big idea of it. And you have a single source of truth with that eliminates double entry of data. So if you create your employee file on the HR side, you don't have to recreate that employee file on the payroll side. It just syncs right over, and then your payroll folks, or you can be doing the payroll instead of chasing up documents. So in the next slide, I'll just kind of briefly go over how the organizational level and the business portal is set up. The Employment Hero organizational level that most of our clients would be familiar with would be per company. So each company would have their own dedicated platform that they log into. And then we've got the business level on top of that, which would be for your business. So that's what we call the business portal. And in that portal, you can create subscriptions in organizations for your different businesses, and you can kind of monitor them there. You can also do things like create templates and create admins and all that sort of stuff from the high level, so you don't have to go into each individual organization to do those changes. If you become a business partner, you get that for free. And I think next we'll just pop into the demo and I can kind of show you how that works.
I'll just represent it to you.
Refresh.
You should be getting it now. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. That's just us. Okay. So this is what the business portal looks like. When you log in, this is the screen that you'll see. You'll kind of see your list of organizations here. And you can see what subscription all of your clients are on, how many active employees they have, and how many pending. That just means how many have logged in, how many have not. You can also use this page to go into each one of the individual companies to see what's going on there as well. And then over here on the left, we've got a few options around administrator access, and we can go and we can also create templates here. So if you have some templates that you want to use across several organizations, like you don't want to keep redoing those templates, you can create them here, and then you can send them down into one or two or all of your organizations so that they can be used there. We also have a new reports function that we're building out, and this kind of takes the reporting function from the organizational level and pulls it up to a high level so you can view reporting across all of your companies. So right now we've got the certifications here, so you can kind of do some reporting around certifications like RSAs or whatever sort of qualifications you require for different types of jobs for your employees. You can make sure that things are submitted here before they start work, and if they're going to be expiring soon, you can monitor all that kind of stuff here. Then I'll just show you what the company level looks like. So go into this company here. So this is our classic HR portal. This is what it looks like from each company perspective. We've got a few features on the dashboard, and this is from the admin perspective. So employees will see something a little bit different when they log in. So this over here, we've got an announcement feature, and this also comes through on the mobile app as well. So if you want to share information across your company, you can do that there. And you can also come in and have a look at the onboarding progress for the companies that you look after, just kind of see if they're having any issues. You can also see the progress along here as well, kind of see where your employers might be getting stuck. Maybe if you have employers that are always getting stuck in the super issue here, you can do something to help them along with that. You can also see like pay slips and tasks and things like that managers and admins can send to one another as well. And then the compliance reporting here is probably the most handy feature to our advisors and our partner clients. From this level, you can see in the organization how many employees are finishing their policies and contracts and any other HR documents you might send, like offer letters and those sorts of things. You can also monitor certification requirements here, so you can make sure that you're compliant and that everything is organized there as well. And then you've also got work eligibility here. So for Australia, you've got a lot of employees that are from overseas. So you want to make sure that they do have the proper visas to have the working rights in Australia. So you can kind of run bulk Vivo checks here to look after that sort of thing. And you can also get alerts to let you know if an employee needs to update their details. And the employees also get these automated detail notifications as well. So you don't have to keep chasing these things up with them. They should know early and often when that stuff needs to be updated. Another handy feature that a lot of employers don't have time to sort of organize, that would be a great benefit that advisors could offer, would be reviews. A reviews management system allows employees and employers to kind of create reviews when it's convenient for them, so they don't have to organize time to sit in a room and do those reviews. You can have a standardized set of review questions, and employers can fill this out, and then their employees can fill this out, and then you can have a session later that's a bit more constructive. With the compliance piece, there's also a few other features that we have that are probably very helpful for the advisory piece, such as safety. You can report incidents here as well, and you can kind of monitor that to see if there's any issues that your advisory might be able to help with there. We also have the work life module here, which contains our employee benefits portal. So this is the newest feature to Employment Hero, and here you can offer different articles and things to keep your employees financially knowledgeable. We've got the Hero Shop, where you can offer different products to your employees at discounted rates, movie tickets and groceries and things like that. And your employers can also manage leave here, and when employees submit leave requests and timesheets, these modules look sort of the same. So when employees submit leave requests and timesheets, managers can come here to accept or decline those, and if they do accept them, they go over to the payroll system, and your payroll admins can deal with those there. So I think that's pretty much it for Employment Hero. Just pop it back over to Matt for some questions.
Perfect. Perfect. That was awesome. So just kind of wrap this in as neat a bow as we can. Firstly, thanks for that, Ashley. That was super interesting. I think that, I already have some questions that come to mind on employment here. It's a very robust platform, which is amazing. There already are some questions coming through from the crowd. But coming back to becoming a strategic business partner, really embracing automation can help you do 3 core things: gather better insights faster. Obviously, Hubdoc, in terms of getting immediate access to verified data in the form of source documents, is a big part of that. Creating more time for providing valuable advice. Clearly, a product like Employment Hero can save you hours and hours and hours of admin time, right? Not every business is going to have this robust HR department that can handle all the tasks that Ashley was outlining during the presentation. And so you're going to need efficiencies gained by technology, right? Using technology as a full-time equivalent is kind of the name of the game in the world that we're living in, to allow you to kind of act and work, much more strategically. Now, finally, just building a strong business partnership, right? That is going to allow you to really be that strategic advisor to your client and help them eliminate their pain around running their business, and really change your conversation with your clients from maybe administrative to more proactive. Amazing. So we're just going to touch on some offers here momentarily. For those of you on the call who haven't yet signed up, get your free Hubdoc partner account. That's lifetime free. Go to app.hubdoc.com/sign-up to do that. We offer dedicated phone and email support, even over the holidays, believe it or not. Free and unlimited training by our team, as well as some other amazing features. Over to you, Ashley.
So if you were interested in joining our Hero Network, which is what we call our network of partners, just send us an email at partnerships@employmenthero.com and just put Hub Hero into the subject line so we know that it's coming from you. And we can offer you 30% off subscription rates, as well as step-by-step implementation with your first client, so we can make sure that you are really familiar with the product and comfortable with it and can sort of have something great to offer your clients.
Amazing. So just kind of jumping into some questions. We had one really good question for you, Ashley, and that was around the size of business. What size of business is Employment Hero a fit for?
We mostly cater to small to medium-sized businesses, so businesses who aren't looking for huge enterprise systems, but something that's really quite manageable for growth from a small company to a large company. That's where we kind of find our niche.
Good spot? Yeah. Interesting. Does Employment Hero allow for shared-based payments? That was another question that
Share-based payments?
Yeah. I guess shared payment options. We might have to get some more details on that one. Now, I guess another one for you that I kind of been circling around, like when businesses come to Employment Hero, what's kind of the main pain point that you hear more and more? Like what's kind of the, if you were to kind of circle in on kind of 1 or 2 key things that you hear from businesses?
Oh, it's definitely the onboarding. Most of our clients really love the automated onboarding process. You kind of so there's the automated onboarding for the employer and the employee, and then you can also set up onboarding and offboarding checklists so that you can kind of decide the steps and tasks that you want an employee to go through when they're first onboarded, and then at the end of it when they're offboarded as well. So you don't have to think, you only have to think about it one time and set it up one time, and then it's there every time. And there's a track record of everything that happens, so you know what has been done and what hasn't been done. And you also know that your employees are going to be taken through all of those onboarding steps. You're going to have all of the contact details that you need. You're going to have the bank details. You're going to have the super information. You're going to have all of the tax file details that you need. And if the employees aren't putting those things in, they're not able to do anything else on the platform until they go through all of those steps, and they get heaps of reminders until they do that.
Got it. Awesome. Someone looking for just more details on the kind of business size. Is there like a certain number of employees from like 10 to 30 that Employment Hero?
Well, yeah, so 1 to 100 is kind of our sweet spot at the moment.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes complete sense. So we had a question around Hubdoc partner pricing. So what I would suggest is just emailing support@hubdoc.com to get our partner pricing matrix rubric. As mentioned, advisors get lifetime free accounts. Currently, our baseline single account model begins with $27.50, including GST, and there's a descending pricing scale, very similar to Xero's pricing model as you grow on our platform. That's for unlimited transactions, limited functionality, etc. We had another good question. How long does it take to implement Hubdoc? It's a very good one. It's very dependent on what you're using our solution for. So getting started with bank statement fetching, takes no time, really. I mean, if a client is tech savvy and they know how to follow directions, or if you screen share with them, they can get started and fetch bank statements for you in a matter of moments, quite literally. It's as easy as logging into their bank's online portal. So for that functionality. Now, if you're using us as a document processing bookkeeping tool, that's just where a bit more legwork comes into play. Obviously, to create the amount of automation we're looking for, there does need to be a certain amount of rule creation and just kind of admin stuff set up so that it functions as seamlessly as you want it to. So what I generally say is, like, you can start using Hubdoc as a bookkeeping automation tool today, and it will save you time. However, in order for the account to be humming and really creating that automation, as you saw in my demo account or my personal account that I use every day, it's going to take, I would say, 30 days just to get all your major suppliers in there and done and dusted, and then it becomes just seamless automated process. Awesome. Question for Employment Hero. Can you tell us a bit more about your partner program?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different types of partners. Some of the partners have sort of just want to implement for the clients, and then some other partners like to provide ongoing services like payroll or accounting and these types of things. We've got some HR advisors as well. So if you become a partner with Employment Hero, you also get a free partner portal as well in a demo account, and then you're able to create those other accounts for your employees there. And then we're also doing a lot of new things in the new year around support and some tools to help you learn about the product as well. Does that sort of, yeah.
Yeah, great. I think that kind of answers the question generally about the partner program. Awesome. So that kind of, I think, wraps up most of our questions today. Is there any more questions coming through? No worries. So if there's anything that we've missed or anything else you want to know, please feel free to give the email that we send you tomorrow a follow-up and just saying, hey, had some lots more details on this. But huge thank you to you, Ashley, for joining us. That was phenomenal. Massive thank you to everyone who attended today. I know it's asking a lot to have you take a bit of your day to join us, but hope you got something out of today's webinar. And yeah, hopefully look forward to working with many of you in the new year. Thanks again, Ashley, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks, you too, Matt.
See you guys.